Welcome to a wonderful episode of Focus Story. This is where I take my clients and help them share some of the most amazing experiences that they've had in their life so that you can benefit from all of their amazing experiences. Today on Focus Story, I have Danielle Benzon. She is an amazing speaker, coach, trainer. She's got amazing background in theater. And today we're going to hear a little bit more about how to mind the wake. This is a story that is so impactful that you'll be coming back to this over and over and thinking, how can I use this, not just in my own life, but in all of the different people that you interact with? You'll be able to come back to this story and think, wow, this is amazing. So excited to have her on today. Danielle, welcome to Focus Story. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. I'm doing great. I'm a little nervous, but I'm wonderful.
A little nervous, but that's all right. We always have the opportunity for growth, and having those nerves is pretty healthy, I think.
I think so too.
How do we channel those nerves and give a gift to the audience? And that's what we're going to do today. Now, This story, before we get into it, I wanted to first understand who you are. Give us the 30-second to a minute version of who you are and why people need to listen to you.
Oh my goodness. 30-second bio. Go. Who are you in a nutshell? Well, my name is Danielle Benzon, as previously stated. I am a voice and speaking coach. I work with people to bring their inner fire, their inner passion, their weird, wonderful, wacky, beautiful selves out into the light and to fall in love with the sound of their voice, because so many of us are hiding. We're hiding behind presentations. We're hiding behind scripts. We're hiding behind PowerPoint presentations. And really, it's you that people want to connect with. So I help speakers, business owners master their instrument, their voice body instrument, so that they can be more clear and effective, but also so that they can have more fun, be more authentic, and really connect with people.
Wonderful. Guys, this is going to be just one of those experiences that you're going to come back and be like, I can totally see why she does what she does. She's amazing. All right, Danielle, let's dive straight into this story. Take us to that point of where you were right before you went to this regatta is the word that you told me. I was like, we need to use a simple word. We need to figure out what does that even mean.
I changed it for you.
So help us understand what the context was and then dive straight in here.
All right. So I'm 10. I'm standing in an unfamiliar parking lot in the baking South African sun. I grew up in South Africa. I am so excited because I know this time is going to be different. I've got my backpack on. My parents have just left. They've just abandoned me in this parking lot. I'm standing in front of the building that I'm about to enter into. And it's an unfamiliar building. It's an unfamiliar city. I've got my backpack on. And I'm wearing very carefully selected clothes from my 10-year-old self. I'm wearing a very fashionable Billabong t-shirt. It's kind of a muted blue color. Nothing to stand out too much. Black swim short baggies, because I know that my favorite neon baggies that were hand-me-downs from my brother, I know that those get me into trouble, so I'm not wearing those. I'm wearing some black ones. Some flip-flops, of course, standard South African fare. And I am ready to make a good impression. And I'm going to walk in there. And maybe I won't be popular, because let's not ask for the world. But at least this time, I'm going to walk into a room of strangers. None of them know who I am. And I am not going to be the kid they pick on. This time. This time it's going to be different. So I walk in. It's a sailing competition. My parents have dropped me off for the weekend. I'm going to spend a weekend with a group of strange kids. We're all going to be competing together. And I sit at the back and I wait. Within an hour, I'm getting comments. Oh, you're so fat, you're going to sink your boat. How did they know? Being a fat kid isn't the only reason I was bullied. There's plenty of other overweight kids that aren't getting bullied the way that I do. I know this. I studied before I came here. I watched all the other kids who I thought had things in common with me and how they behaved and how they didn't get bullied. And I thought that I'd perfected the formula. But somehow, I don't know, maybe there's a convention. Maybe there's a convention of popular kids all across the country. They all get together and they pass around my photograph. I don't know how this happens, but somehow, within hours, everybody knows that I'm the kid to pick on. I'm the most fun to make fun of. Do I have alien stamped on my forehead? Do I have this child needs to be made fun of for some reason? I mean, I'm odd. I've always been a little bit odd. You can tell. I had brown hair then, okay? I embrace my oddness now, but I've always been a little bit odd. But even so, there are odd, happy people in the world. I did not understand what it was. And from that weekend, I started to believe, really genuinely believe, that there was something so inherently wrong with me, so baked in, that all the other kids, anyone that I met, would immediately be able to recognize this thing that made them want to bully me. I thought I had alien stamped on my forehead. And in a way, I was kind of right. Because what I didn't know, as that kid who had studied and was so determined and desperate to be liked, what I didn't know is that I was transmitting, broadcasting, teaching these kids how to treat me. I was pretending to be confident. I was, standing with my backpack with my shoulders back. But there was all this subconscious body language, my word choice, the way I was so defensive, my vocal tone. I kind of talked like this when I was younger because the South African accent, but also I didn't really like myself. So it's kind of whiny and it was kind of a flat kind of, this isn't the, not all South Africans sound like this, but I kind of did. And you could hear my self-loathing in my voice. You could hear the cautiousness and the insecurity. You could hear it in my voice. And so, no, I didn't actually have alien printed on my forehead, but I was walking around communicating to everyone around me how I was expecting to be treated. Not how I wanted to be treated, but how I was expecting to be treated, how I'd been trained to live in the world. And it was only much later when I started studying acting and human behavior and all this gorgeous stuff that we get to learn about how we move and how we breathe and how we speak and how we interact with the world. Only then did I unlock that mystery and realize that no, I wasn't inherently wrong, but I was showing up in a way that was encouraging people to treat me in a certain way. Mm. So thank goodness I learned that because now I get to teach that to other people. So whenever I get clients who come to me and they say, I keep getting passed up for the promotion, no one listens to me, people make fun of me, I always have to repeat myself. We get to look at not only what they want to say, how they want to be seen, how they want to be heard, but what's going on underneath and what little subtle signals are being sent that maybe are sabotaging what they're saying. And so now I get to take this knowledge from myself, apply it to me too, but also I get to help other people with it. And it's the most rewarding thing in the world. So I'm quite glad actually that I ended up going to that sailing competition.
Amazing. When I hear this, it just makes me smile inside because a lot of times we have these experiences that come to us and we don't realize the value of that experience for years, could be decades. When did you first realize that being weird or odd or standing out is a superpower rather than a toxic, almost evil thing that other people are always like, glaring at you?
Only like 20 years later. Depressingly so.
2 decades later.
It only took 2 decades. I'd kind of come to terms with the fact that people saw me. Once I graduated high school, I worked in customer service while I was saving up to go to acting school. And I would walk down the street and people would remember me. People would know me who I had no recollection of. And I know that I've always stood out, even when I was trying so desperately not to. And that was just something I'd kind of resigned myself to. And it got to a point in my 20s where it was at least neutral. And then I started my own business. And I was, in marketing rooms with, learning because I didn't know anything about business when I started. I was a trained actor. So I was doing all this studying and I was in a room learning about how to differentiate yourself, branding and all that stuff. And people were talking about, separating themselves from their business and how do I make myself different? And I got to realize that, I don't have that problem. Everybody recognizes me. And I got to lean into that and not only lean into that on the superficial level, like if I go to a networking event, people are going to remember. They're going to remember meeting me, which is wonderful. And so I can make more of an impression and I can share my values loudly. so not only that, which is a wonderful, it's a gift now as a
Mhm.
business owner, because we work so hard for people to remember us. You know that so many you have to have so many touches before someone will know, like, and trust you. I'm pretty sure my touches are cut in half because people remembered me so well. But also I also get to lean into who I am more, because I realize that so many people are trying to, again, we're always trying to
Mhm.
hide who we are, hide our values, and then create this business like it's a completely separate thing from us, especially solopreneurs and like entrepreneurs, people with smaller businesses or passion-based businesses. You creating your business because of your values, because of who you are. The easiest thing in the world is just to step into who you are, step into your values. You're already there. You're already loud and bright and brightly colored and passionate about what you are. It's so easy to stand out because you're automatically unique as an individual human being.
Mhm.
But this idea that we have to kind of take our personalities out of it and then somehow try and find something interesting to inject back into it. It's like taking a beautiful painting, painting over it with white, and then trying to make another beautiful painting on top. Why don't you just use the original? No, if you want to touch it up, you can. But it's the silliest thing. So it's really great now,
Mhm.
but it took a long time to figure that out. And it's kept me very accountable as well, because I know that I'm always being seen, and I never get away with, gossip or, just saying something a little bit snarky. I just learned that that's not something, some people can be a little bit different at home than they are at work. I got to be 100% transparent all the time because everyone always sees and hears me, which I think is really good. It's really helped me build my character.
Yeah, you talk about doing shadow work. If your
Mm.
work is always in the light, then people are just gonna notice it all the time. One of the
Yeah.
things that's most valuable that I see in this story that you
Mhm.
brought up was it's not just being around a new environment, it's completely owning your voice, your body, and being
Mm.
authentic. And I talk about this idea of minding the wake. What I'm talking about that is not just like a wake of water. We're not talking about, we're actually
Yeah.
talking about the wake of your energy. How we
Mhm.
show up in any room, are we making waves? Are we creating ripples? And are those effects
Yeah.
going to positively help others, or are they going to detract? Because have you ever been in a room where you walk in and it was like almost icy, and then you walk in, you're like, it's like warmth comes
Yeah.
into the room.
Mhm.
Many experiences like that where I am more like a thermostat than a thermometer. I don't wanna take my temperature off other people. I want to be able
Yeah.
to raise the energy, the heat
Oh,
of
I
the
love that.
room, and I think one of the things that you do really beautifully, Danielle, is you're able to use your energy as a catalyst for other people to change.
Mhm.
So, in the last moments we have here, we're gonna wrap up. Tell us, what is one client experience where you've been able to help them break out of their shell, been able to help them step into their own energy
Oh.
because of your experiences?
Oh. Oh, I have so many. One of my favorite stories, I hope it's not too long, is one of my favorite clients, Tatiana Taylor Tate. She's a interior designer. She works with
Mhm,
medium term rentals, like Airbnb kind of thing. And she hadn't really shared her story. She'd done some interviews and things, but she hadn't really shared her story. And she'd never spoken in front of a group of people live ever. And she was organizing her first convention. They ended up having, I think, about 300 people there. And she was running it. So she wanted to be the keynote, naturally,
mhm,
of course. And it was her thing. But she wanted to tell her story. And I think we spent a month or two working together, holding her hand, letting her cry it out almost every single rehearsal. She was so nervous. She was so terrified of getting emotional on stage because her story was quite dark, but it was very important. It was integral to the way that she saw her business. And
mhm.
so she really wanted to share it. And she had never been on stage before, other than like, a little, 5 people Toastmasters kind of thing. And she got up there and she was so amazing. And I have the video, so I know she was so amazing. She got I think three other speaking gigs booked within an hour after coming off of stage. People were coming up to her afterwards, telling her how much she had touched them. And it was because she didn't shy away from the emotion.
Mm.
Instead, she actually took her shoes off, and she was like, I'm just going to be my weird self. She'd been at the conference for a couple of days, so she'd gotten to know people, gotten comfortable with talking to some of the people in her audience. And instead of trying to hide behind this kind of veneer of professionalism, she just leaned into her personality. She's so quirky. She was so funny. She's so heartfelt. And she just let herself out and let herself shine on stage. And it was the most, I cried when I watched it back. It was the most beautiful thing. And that was just kind of, that's what I want to help people do is be themselves intentionally, on purpose, out loud, in a way that really is authentic and feels strong and feels right and empowering for you.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Danielle. I know we've been working with each other for quite a while now. I would love to hear what has been your experience. What's been the main value that you've seen in connecting with me and connecting with the Leveling Up podcast? Because you've not just listened to me, you've been able to connect in
Yeah.
multiple facets. So talk to me about your experience and why it matters.
Well, I'd been shopping for a while before I stumbled upon you. Because as a speaking coach, it's always difficult. You want to level up, but you gotta find someone who has similar values to you, has similar kind of ideas, and also someone who is going to help you level up. You don't want someone who's going to be lower than you. So it was such a relief to kind of chat to you and realize that not only are we very in alignment, but you've got you've got some higher level that you can share with me and teach me. But I know I was in safe hands. I knew you weren't ever going to kind of take me off the path or try and make me do something that felt inauthentic or like unintegrous in any way. And we were both so passionate about certain things, certain parts of storytelling. I was like, yes, this is the guy. This has got to help me come to the next level. And so far, we've been working together. We've had a few sessions together, and you've been so great. I've been so nervous and so judgmental of myself and my stories because I have been speaking for a while, and you're so good at encouraging me and like pushing me out of my comfort zone, but also not trying to push me into places that feel wrong. You're very good at kind of helping me trust my instincts and go with my instincts, and you pick up balls and you run with them and you find things that I hadn't thought of, and I'm like, oh wow, that's such a great connection, or and just really helping me dial in and focus in a way that you absolutely can't on your own, and without an expert eye to really see all the little details. It's really difficult to do. So I'm looking forward to continuing. It's really fun so far.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah.
This has been an episode of Focus Story. And Danielle, thank you so much for being here today. It was a pleasure to hear your story. And there's way more to come, guys. This is awesome. So just to summarize, I am so thankful that we not only got to hear her story, but we got to see different ways that story can create value for you and for more people. So I hope that you have a great rest of your day, guys. Keep tuning in to the Leveling Up podcast as well, and look for more of these focus stories. They're going to consistently be out here over the next year, and you will be able to find serious value by not just hearing these stories, but doing something based on what you hear. So speaking of doing something, this is one of the things I'm going to ask you guys to do. Check this out. I'm going to invite you to go to brighamb.com/3. Let me pull up the banner. Look right below here. This is where you can go and get 3 reasons stage fright costs and why it must be fixed. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of struggles. So definitely go check that out. This will help you be able to overcome the biggest challenge that a lot of people have is fear to open up and fear to share their story. And what this does for you is it helps you improve 3 specific things. You create more income, you can create more impact, and be able to inspire. Now, if you could do that, would that be helpful? I think so. So definitely come check this out. 3 reasons stage fright costs, why you must fix it. And we'll see you guys next time. God bless.